Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast, where I give you practical Stoic advice for modern times. If you'd like to see more information about this podcast, or if you'd like to see more of my free resources, just go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com. But for now, I really hope that you enjoy this podcast, and if you do, then I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe on iTunes and leave a positive review so that more people can have the chance to listen to this great work. Hi there, I'm Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast. In this short episode, I'd like to instill within you a deep respect and desire for positive examples. When I say examples, I mean people who serve as guides for how you should live your life. Few people can achieve high acclaim without having followed the great examples of men and women before them. Yes, we must carve our own path in the world, and we should not wish to be exactly like someone else. However, the power of a great example or mentor cannot be overstated. As Seneca wrote to one of his friends, he said the following of examples. Quote, "There is a need, in my view, for someone as a standard against which our characters can measure themselves. Without a ruler to do it against, you will not make the crooked straight." End quote. Without good examples and mentors to follow, our life is without a ruler, and we are prone to drifting to and fro, never correcting our character or seeing our faults. I am reminded of a lesson that I learnt in childhood. When I was about 11 years old, my family moved to a beautiful 30-acre patch of land on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. In a field there stood 3 eucalyptus trees, all very tall and very thick. One tree stood out more than the others. Whilst the other 2 trees were both very straight, this one was leaning at an angle of about 45 degrees. It puzzled me that this tree could grow so differently from the other 2 trees that were planted in the same place at around the same time. The same year that we moved to the farm, I asked my parents if I could plant my own eucalyptus tree. They agreed, and we went to the nursery to find my tree. I found the one that I wanted, a gum tree that was tall enough to give some shade immediately, and supple enough to be bended if needed. When we planted the tree, my dad did something that I hadn't seen before. Next to the freshly planted tree, he rammed in a stake into the ground, and then tied the tree to that stake. I asked him why he did this, and he explained that if the young tree was not tied to a strong stake, then the wind would soon change the tree's direction of growth, and over many years this could cause the tree to grow at a sharp angle. When he told me this, I soon understood the reason why the fully grown tree that I mentioned earlier was at such a large angle. When it was young, it obviously didn't have the support that was needed to fight the heavy wind, and now it was too late to do anything about it. The poor tree was stuck, and now I couldn't fix it. I was grateful that my new tree would have a better chance, and over the next few years it grew to be tall and strong until it no longer needed the support of a rope. Over our lives we will be pushed back and forth by the winds of life. But we can still remain on a straight path if we choose to tie ourselves to great examples and mentors, people who we can measure ourselves against. To continue into Seneca's letter, he went on to say, quote, "The personality should be provided with someone it can revere, someone whose influence can make even its private inner life more pure. Happy is the person who can so revere another as to adjust and shape his own personality in the light of recollection even of that other. A person able to revere another thus will soon deserve to be revered himself. Choose someone whose way of life as well as words, and whose very face as mirroring the character that lies behind it, have won your approval. Be always pointing him out to yourself, either as your guardian or as your model." End quote. We would all do well to take the time and find great examples in people around us, and also people not within our circle. The person who is able to see great qualities in other people and cultivate those qualities within herself will never struggle to find success. On my wall in my office, I have placed pictures of many influential people whose lives I want to emulate. The goal is not to become exactly like them, but to focus on certain qualities that they possess. Each person reminds me of a virtue that I wish to have. Rosa Parks reminds me of strength and courage. Napoleon Hill reminds me that I must never stop searching for wisdom. And Marcus Aurelius reminds me that I must cooperate with all people in a spirit of harmony. I have found that my office is now one of the most inspiring places, because I can look up and see a wall full of examples that I can follow. I am excited to develop myself when I see their faces, and I would encourage you to find a space to do the same thing. Epictetus said the following on developing a sound character, quote, "One of the best ways to elevate your character immediately is to find worthy role models to emulate. Invoke the characteristics of the people you admire most, and adopt their manners, speech, and behavior as your own. There is nothing false in this. We all carry the seeds of greatness within us, but we need an image as a point of focus in order that they may sprout." End quote. Positive examples and mentors serve as great marks for us to aim at, and they also make our journey to fulfillment a straighter and easier path. We all need to be constantly searching for people who are worthy of our admiration. These people are everywhere if we will look. And when we find these examples, we must make the decision to develop the characteristics that we find so attractive in them. When we do this, we will surely be more confident on our march to a more significant existence, and we will begin to experience what it truly means to rise to the good life. Hi there, thank you so much for listening to this, and thank you so much for your support. I really hope that you're getting a lot of value out of this. And if you'd like to have more free resources, or if you'd like to see the show notes, you can go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com. Also, if you'd like to follow me on Facebook, you can go to Daily Stoic Quotes, or my name, Simon Drew. On the Daily Stoic Quotes page, I post a Stoic quote every single day, so like that if you want to be inspired by the great Stoics from the past. If you want to get in contact with me, or if you have any feedback or suggestions for the show, then you can do that on my website by going to the contact page and sending me an email, or you can just send me a message on Facebook. I'll usually reply pretty quickly. But again, thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope that I've helped you on your rise to the good life. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practical Stoic Podcast. I really hope that it's valuable to you, and I really hope that it helps you to live a better life. If it has been valuable to you, please don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and leave a positive review. If you'd like to see more free resources, just go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com.